Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Ben podcast, and this is episode 6, which is kind of crazy. I've done 6 episodes already, and look who's back. Jordan is back. As I said on Tuesday, Jordan will be back for a second episode. First guest to do 2 episodes, which is, I've only had one other guest, so it's not really an impressive achievement, but anyways.
Oh, it's impressive.
Yeah, super excited to have Jordan back, and this episode is going to be a little bit about what Jordan's doing, what God's been put on his heart. I know a lot about Jordan, so this is going to be more for you guys, me just kind of carrying on the conversation. But Jordan, so I know
What's up?
Your dad loves working with his hands, has built things. I know you've built things. So where did that desire for you really start, for you to really want to tinker with things, to build things and that, and then we'll get into more detail of what you're doing now.
I just remember a story which I'll share with you. So ever since I was young, I saw my dad do really, really cool things, whether it was fixing things mechanically when it comes to like cars or building houses, or just fixing random things, or reworking a radio, or just doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And when you see that, you just kind of either aspire to do that, or just kind of pick it up and just have that skill. A lot of the time, some people don't, but others tend to do so. And I like to think I picked up on a good portion of it. Some stuff I'm still learning. He's got many years over me. I mean, so he's definitely got a lot more experience, which is really cool. Talking to people that have more experience, you're always going to learn something. And if you don't learn at least something, you're just doing it wrong. So, and just kind of aspiring, to be like that and to do my own thing, and having the mental capacity to know that doing that kind of stuff can help push you farther, and then take what he's doing, and then, just like a marathon or Olympic run, run the torch in and then light the thing, and the thing all gets on fire. You just want to pass the torch along, and hopefully I, make him proud, and as any son hopefully wants to make their dad proud.
So what was your first real big, I know you did some stuff in middle school and high school. I know we did airsoft, which was so much fun.
That's part of the We Bled Together.
Yes, that was the last episode. If you didn't check that out, head over and check out that episode. It talks a little bit about how we got to know each other and what we did. But what was kind of the first thing, maybe in middle school or high school, that you really were building that really kind of set this as a spark?
I don't know if you were there that day, but most likely you were. Do you remember the day that I showed up to, I believe it was Wednesday church. I believe
maybe Calstumi, probably.
It might have been
Calstumi.
And I had this weird car thing that I built that was part pedal car, part thing. And I
think so.
You remember that?
That's a long time. Oh my goodness, a long time.
So I built this pedal car thing, and I'm just cruising through the parking lot, drifting this thing back and forth. And it was just because I saw that we had these wheels and this little pedal thing, and without a body to put it on. So I was like, shoot, I'm going to grab some 2x4s and some pieces of OSB, and I'm going to make a freaking car out of this thing. So I did. And either made a fool of myself, and oh dude, I bashed my knee off that thing. Cause what would happen if you get going so fast, it would throw you up in it.
Yeah. I will say this about Jordan. And one thing I've learned about him, and I guess his dad too, he loves building things. He loves tinkering around. If there's a problem with something, they would rather fix it than go take it somewhere to get it fixed, which is something I wish I had. I've never been good with tools. I attempt to be good. I took a shop class once.
They don't really give you much in shop class.
My teacher did, and
really?
He was very adamant at how bad I was. I made a square box, was what I created. Everyone else, they created these cool things with wood, nailed it all together, sawed it all. I wouldn't even allowed to use the saw by myself because they were so scared I'd saw my hand off. I legit created a square box. It's still out in the garage and yet not being used. You know why? Because it is a piece of junk.
Does he have all his fingers?
I do have all my fingers. I have all 10.
Does he have all his fingers?
Yes, the dude was amazing.
Oh, okay. So the dude was absolutely amazing. So at least let's do him.
Yeah. So, and then we were gonna go weld, and I was the only one that didn't get to weld because he's like, dude, I don't want you to burn down the place. And I was like, well, you know what? Valid point. Anyways, that's one thing I've known about Jordan is like compared to me, he is so amazing with his hands and knows how to manipulate things and get things to look right and fit right. But one of the things I'm most impressed and you could talk about this a little bit. Jordan got to learn how to play guitar. What was it, about 12 years old? About 11 to somewhere around that age?
I've only been doing it for 7 years.
So around 14, 15.
Yeah, that's probably around there. Yeah.
When he started learning. But the coolest thing about Jordan, I still to this day, and just it's fascinating. He built his own guitar and he created his own guitar. He looked at guitars and then was able to make it. And I don't know, but that's pretty cool. Personally, I think, I'm not a guy that plays musical instruments, but I still think that's absolutely amazing. So what about for you is something that you have learned from that? So what did you learn from that in that sense of building your own
I kind of wanted to plug myself here, if you don't mind.
No, you're good.
So if you check me out on TikTok, it's jbush1995, and I'm actually doing a little.
Y'all know I hate TikTok, so don't ask me to be. I don't care.
I'm going to support it.
Go ahead.
I literally just made a video earlier.
That's true.
About this podcast.
That's true.
It's great. It's good. It's good marketing.
It is.
But anyways, jbush1995. I'm actually doing a short mini series about one of the guitars that I built and special tips. It's a replica guitar of somebody that I really admire. And yeah, so if you go check me out, you'll be able to see some things. I'm giving some tips and tricks about how to build it, things to look for, what to do, what people get wrong. It's really cool.
Yeah, and that is what is so cool about Jordan is, he has a platform. I have to encourage him more because he doesn't use his platform good enough or as well as he should.
We could always do better,
because
right?
he knows so much knowledge. I've said this, and I've said this on multiple occasions because we've had conversations about this. If you do pay attention to any of my YouTube genre and kind of what I do and then what I do on this podcast, a lot of what I do is based off of stories of people or experiences that I do. That hence why the name's called the Bowden Experience on YouTube. It's experiencing life through my eyes and through what I see. And that's what I do. You can check out my vlogs, you can check out my ministry videos, and there's so many different things that I do. And I have said since day one, and he is here to attest to this. I've said since he started day one doing a lot of these building stuff, which we'll get into what he's been doing lately, to make legit a video series on how to do this stuff. Because in a second, I will tell you a number of his video. Let's just put it this way. His channel, you probably have about, 15 videos or so on there.
Yeah.
I have about 35, 40. My biggest video that I have is about 500 views. And I'm not here for the views by any means. I'm here just people like it. They can watch it. That's what I like to do.
People. Yeah.
This dude made a 30-second video on a Jeep, which we'll get to in a bit, that has 4,000 plus views on a 30-second video. I took the time and effort to put in so much creativity into my craft, and then I have very little creativity, but that's besides the point. And, I get, 200, 250. The reason I point this out is this. This man right here has an amazing mind for what he does. And I think you all should encourage him by sharing with him how much he could create a video series on YouTube, or even he wants to use TikTok, as much as you all know I despise it. Whatever that platform is, because he does it sometimes. He'll do it occasionally.
Oh, yeah.
But Lord help him to do it more than 1-2 times a year. Yeah. And then you'll barely see it because
I'll kind of elaborate on why.
But this is what I always said though, because he knows he has a guy that, well, now I'll be gone out of the country, but he knows he had a guy that does video. I do a lot of video and I do a lot of, working with gimbals and working with GoPros. Like I have a lot of that skills and I've always offered to help him, but yet this guy, known him for 20 years, still refuses to do it. So please elaborate, because y'all help the world solve this here a little bit.
All right, I'll solve it for you. Okay, so as he mentioned, I've been building a Jeep, and so I also want to point out about this whole 4,300 views or whatever that thing's up to now. The satisfaction that I get out of a 30-second video is nil. I get none out of it. None. I get none out of it.
That's true.
It's 30 seconds, and all I'm doing is taking 3 screws out and telling you how to remove a center console out of a Jeep.
First off, it's kind of sad too that that's what satisfy people. But
the only thing that I think that they're getting hung up on.
There's no way there's 4,300 people that own that type of Jeep. There is no way.
Dude, they made thousands upon thousands of those Jeeps. So the only thing I think they get caught up on is that the shifter has to come off it a certain way. You got to take it off, and the shifter's getting stuck. So that might be what the problem is, but I don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
I was gonna say. So I took kind of a break from YouTube. I really started pounding it hard. We both did. We both started pounding YouTube so.
And legit, fun fact, we were going to start our own series together, but it never panned out because we both got so busy with our lives. I never actually got a chance to do it.
And
one day in this great world, if we are 70 years old, I don't care. We are going to make a series that will be the goofiest we don't care series of all time. But that's besides the point. Go ahead.
Oh, I just love having fun.
You were hammering it. I was hammering it out.
So, and then here's what happened. Okay, so I had these videos planned out. I did the first few of like, this thing was the biggest pile of just garbage I've ever bought in my life. And if they tell you when you go to buy a Jeep, if you guys have admirations to buy a Jeep and build this really cool, crazy thing, do it. It's a lot of fun. But when the guy says, oh yeah, I know the floor's rusted out, but that floor pan is only $50 and you can get it welded in, kick him, punch him in the face, do something, because it's not the case. You're going to put way more money, a lot of crazy more time into this thing. And yes.
And it turned out to be, and I will be honest with you, I remember seeing you at the beginning of this.
Oh yeah.
And I remember him getting this, and he actually made a video. If you go to his YouTube, it's what's up JB, right?
It's what's up JB.
What's up JB? You go over and you can kind of see the process, because I remember it's actually been almost a year as this is coming out. As this coming out, it's been just a tad less than a year, so almost really 12 months, a little less than 12 months of him doing this process. And it's again why I wanted to bring this up with you is it really helps tell the story of Jordan. I mean, this is Jordan. This is what he loves to do. And not only is that, this dude, fun joke that I always share about Jordan is this.
Oh boy.
The dude's never satisfied with a job very, very consistently, because it's not a bad thing. It's not like he gets fired. It's legit because he's a very hard worker. It's one thing I love about Jordan. And the one thing I love about him is that he's not satisfied because he hasn't found what he loves to do yet. One thing I know he loves to do is he loves repairing things. How many houses or properties have you taken care of?
Oh man,
you're up to 3 or 4 now?
I'm working on the 4th one.
Yeah. And so he's doing that. He's built this Jeep, which by the way, the Jeep, I will be putting a photo in the YouTube version. There'll be a photo popping up right about now of this Jeep, and it looks absolutely amazing. Also, maybe I can have Jordan give me older picture of what the Jeep used to look like, because I'm telling you what he did is absolutely amazing. And it again shows it's your story. It's your story of how your dad, back when you were a kid, was just tinkering around.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you said, I want to be like my dad. And just like you guys heard last week when I shared about, my dad and my story, and how because of my dad doing missions, I want to go now and be a missionary. And I think that's what's so cool about Jordan is he doesn't quit when it gets hard. Because I remember there was times in this Jeep, and I'm about to say, there were moments I remember talking to him, and he's just like, I need to take a break. And you did. And you took almost a month break, didn't you? At one point.
And that's why I took a break from YouTube.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I took a break from YouTube, literally, because we got all the rust prevention done. And I have the video up on that of me working on the rust prevention and stuff like that. And then once I got the body up off the frame, and this Jeep turned into a full frame off restoration, like the stuff you see on TV.
Yeah.
But it just takes way longer because I don't have 15 guys working on this thing. Yeah. And it's just me and my dad.
Yeah.
Part-time. So
yeah, that's true.
So this thing turned into this crazy thing. But once I got the frame and the body separated, okay, I had it on its side, and I started cutting holes in the bottom of it. And then the welder that I had wasn't doing it at all. It was blowing holes in this thing, just blowing holes. So what happened is I had to do a bunch of research to make sure, because I don't know a lot about welding. Neither really does my dad. And honestly, we had to do a lot of research, talking to people, just trying to get some insight on this. And eventually come across the welder that I bought to then continue it. And it literally took a month and a half before I could get another video out. So by this point, then I was just ready to start cranking this thing out and trying to get back on track, because in my head, I thought I was behind on this thing.
Yeah.
So I really took a break for that reason right there, because a video of me waiting, looking stuff in the internet,
Yeah.
trying to find this welder is not a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
and I think we all have that, because I don't know if it, and he knows this a little bit because he follows me closely when I do YouTube and stuff. When I did YouTube, I took a break as well. I took a break during my student teaching time. I had student teaching this past fall, and I took a break for about, I would do some videos here and there. Like my great uncle passed away. I did a honoring him video. I did a couple other update videos occasionally. But my vlogs that I consistently, in the summer, in the late spring, early summer, and even late summer, I was consistently making a Tuesday, Thursday vlog. A Thursday, Saturday vlog, or whatever it was. Yeah, real life Thursday and sit down Saturday. I was making those consistently, for, really 3 or 4 months straight. Went to Hungary, came back, got into student teaching, and it was super hard to get started. I remember I just told myself, I have to just finish this school. I have to finish my degree. And I remember taking a break, and it was hard for me. I don't know about you, but I know that was super hard because as much as we were doing what we loved, and, you were building a car, I was teaching, YouTube is the one way, and I don't know about you, but like for me, like editing videos and it's just been relaxing. It's a way I get away from everything and just can focus on. It's the same with these podcast videos. I love just being able to put them together, and it feels good when you're done and you're like, oh. And I also filmed a wedding at that time too, so I was busy working on that, so I didn't have as much time. So
the video side of things, that comes relatively natural to me, like the editing side of things and getting that stuff taken care of. It's just like,
it's the time and effort people don't realize goes into the other part.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I do a ton of planning when I do my videos and stuff like that.
I don't.
He does.
I just rock them out.
He rocks them out, and it comes out great, and it kind of drives me nuts. But
we all aren't like that. Trust me. There's been many takes that you don't see that I would be like, well, I sat in my car once that it was 85 degrees outside in my car, sweating. Had to go inside, cool off, then go back in my car to do it because I just, was mad at myself because I sucked. The difference between me and him is he'll plan for that much time before he actually goes and records. I just say, let me just try it out, and then if it fails, then well.
I had a few bullet points on here, but hey, ain't needing that.
Yeah, me, I don't do bullet points because I'm like, I just don't need that. But anyways, yeah, and it's super cool to see how Jordan has really changed as a person. I think as you've gotten older, I think as you start on this Jeep project, even a little bit before that, when you started doing more properties and stuff, I think the maturity, of you
learn a ton.
Yeah, and you grew up as a man. I think you. And the one thing that Jordan and I both have in common, and some people would think it's kind of crazy, like we're both single, and we both have had we talk about this every time we get together pretty much. And we say, I'm like, hey, where are you at? How's your head doing? Where are you at with this? And we both said, like, we just don't, at the moments, we don't feel like, hey, this is what God wants. And that it's the time commitment for I know for him, and for me, I'm leaving the country. So ain't no girl want to date someone leaving the country. But yeah.
Well, once you get over there, you never know what'll happen.
That's true. But yeah, I think that's what's so cool about Jordan and I is, I think even through the YouTube process, when I started, I actually, believe it or not, I made some YouTube videos, and y'all can go watch them, but they're awful. I made occasional YouTube videos like every 3 months for like 2 years in college. And then I got to my senior year, and at the end of my senior year, I started making them more. But actually, my first video that I was in with somebody else was actually on your channel. When he interviewed me just about my radio stuff that I did for Cedarville. And I remember that was super cool. And that's actually kind of what got me thinking, like, I could do this. And actually that kind of went back to the same idea of combining the video type of it, what you're seeing now, my radio time, and then that interview with him, it all put into this kind of show idea of Real Talk with Ben. And the idea of this show is I want to share the stories of people like Jordan, of people like my dad, of myself, things I've learned, to hopefully help people understand that you all don't have to go down the same path. Jordan didn't go to college. Mm-hmm. I did. Yet we're still friends. Yet he still has a great job. He has a great, he did have a job, and now he's changing paths, but
I'm taking what I'm doing full time, and you never know. And that's what it might be something I do long term.
I think the way I want to kind of spin this episode here, to finish up the last 10 minutes or so is, for you, what are some advice that you can give to maybe someone out there, a young entrepreneur, or maybe someone that decided not to go to college and is in the workforce but has a dream of doing something, or even maybe someone in college that is leaving college and heading out, what is some advice you can give them in that phase of life?
So, as far as like continuing to push forward, I always say you want quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will tell you the opposite. A lot of times people will say the complete opposite, quantity over quality all the time, because you have all these different platforms that you can jump onto, and you just want to pump it, because the more you pump it, the more likely you're going to be able to be seen. So when I started having these setbacks and I got to wait this long to get this stuff here because I ordered this and it's this far out because it's coming from California, all kinds of crazy stuff, I wasn't going to make a video over that because I didn't feel that was the quality that I was looking for in the videos. So if you're out there and you're trying to be successful in entrepreneurship, you absolutely need to understand where it's at as far as how to let me say it this way. You need to understand where the attention's at and look at trends. And yes, I've been hopping on TikTok because right now it's doing really good. It's uncomfortably blowing up.
It's literally the new Vine.
It is.
And I hated Vine.
And
I was in a Vine video of his, me belly smacking the water.
Did we make it Vine?
I was in the Vine because you know what you wanted me to do? Nope, didn't want me to just jump in the pool normally. Like, do a belly flop. That's what he wanted me to do.
I don't remember this.
I do remember this because it was the dude that went, nah, nah, nah. It was like the Indian dude that was like making that weird noise. And he like said, dun, 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 dun.
Oh, yeah.
And then what I do, he says, jump in with a belly flap.
Yep.
Because that, for some reason, is logical. So you know what? You don't know why I hate TikTok? It goes back to Vine. You know why I hate Vine? As much as I love this man, this dude made me belly flop. And not once, not twice, but 3 times. Because, can't get it right the first time. So by the end, I had like raw skin just like peeled off me because I smacked it so hard. So, anyways, continue. Sorry, I went on a tangent.
You're good. You're good. But as far as like having the quality and what it is you're doing, whether or not because I do it all. I do cars. I detail
real
them.
Estate.
I do real estate. I do all kinds.
Guitars.
I do guitars, weddings, you name it. I've done it. And you want to be competitive.
He's a Swiss Army knife of my friends.
Of everything. Yeah, I'll do it all. But you want to have the quality there, of course. But you also want to be able for someone to look at what you're doing and be like, oh yeah, I can't get that better somewhere else. And you also have to be able to, like I said, look at trends and understand whether or not this piece of real estate's going for X because it's this much land. But if I buy it over here, it's going for XX. And that's the better option to go to if you can get it closer to the same price. So the most recent real estate venture that I just closed on it a week ago. Was it when we went to go get Chipotle? I was closing on it, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago,
something like that.
Okay, so I closed on this thing. Never once got into the house, but I knew what the land was worth. I knew if I got rid of this house, that it was going to be worth X. So if I can purchase it at a lesser price, I'm going to make money on it. So I ended up getting into it today, and I was finding all kinds of really cool stuff. I found
it's disturbing.
If you go to my TikTok, you'll see
it's gross, nasty
a video that I posted.
Grossness. But
yeah,
and I think what I love about Jordan, and I mean this, is he's not afraid. He's not afraid to go into something and go, well, if it screws up, well, oh well, I'll just go on the next one. I know that even for me, that's something that I've taken from Jordan and tried to live out is being scared is okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that I love about Jordan, and something that I know he's really put in my life is the idea of, he's always encouraged me, don't be afraid, Ben. I remember when I would even talk to him a couple weeks ago, we met up and, we were talking about how, I told him I was a little nervous. And I remember him even saying like, hey, don't be afraid. Like, this is where you want to be. This is what God wants you to be. And that was encouragement coming from one of my, and again, goes to what we talked about last episode with just being a good friend and being someone that can be there for somebody else. And the reason why I wanted to share Jordan's story over these last 2 episodes is well, one, because he is one of my best friends, but two, I really wanted you to see that you don't have to be what everyone else in this world tells you have to be.
Yeah.
I know
Absolutely.
a lot of the things that when we went to high school, it was going to college. And I remember Jordan vividly saying, like, that's not me.
Yeah.
And he was okay with that.
But also, too, you have to be real with yourself.
Yep.
If you're not real with yourself and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it because, that guy on that podcast said he's doing it. And I
want to make money.
I think I'm better looking than him and I probably could do it better.
Maybe you can.
Maybe you can.
And that's great.
Please.
But don't, what I think what you're trying to say is don't overhype yourself.
Oh, well, not only that too, but you gotta be real with yourself. And if you're like,
and don't think it's going to happen like this. How long did it take you? What, 5 years to get where you're at?
So I had to save up the money.
Yeah. So it's not like this. And that's what I think we're trying to say is wherever you went. I went to college. The one thing, like I said in the last episode, he ain't going to have to worry about debt like I do. Like, I'm worried about paying off my student loans over the next few years. That's my goal.
And that's not really, for me, that's not really like I'm doing it because of the money.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. You don't want to go into
love.
it. I do it because I love it. And yes, that's probably partially why I don't feel satisfied when I'm working a job, like a full-time job, because
you don't necessarily love it as much.
I don't love it as much. But honestly, too, I love doing it so much for myself, and I'm to this point to where I can maintain doing it on the side. So when you're working a sales job, which I have been for the past 10 plus years, you work retail hours, and if anybody's worked retail, you kind of have a good idea what that is.
9 to 6, 9 to 7,
9 to 8.
Yeah.
So you don't really have time. If you get out there at 5 o'clock, you have 4 hours of daylight to go and do what you're doing. So for me, like you said, I had a good job. It wasn't really a great job, but I now have the ability to do this stuff full time for a while.
Do what you love.
And I'm going to have that ability to do what I like to do, and I'm doing it for a really good reason. You know why I'm doing it? The one property, right?
Yep. For your sister,
and he knows my sister.
And I think too, and as as we kind of finish up the episode, I think what's so cool about Jordan, and I want to leave it with this, and I want to leave you with this. Like Jordan just said, he's doing a property for his sister. But I want to say this. Whatever you're doing, and Jordan can attest to this, do it because you love it. Don't sit there and dwell on something. And like for me, I know financially I can't do videos yet full time. I could, I recently could, but where God has me right now, that's not what I'm doing full time. Yet, do I love doing what I do? I shot a wedding. I shot my cousin's wedding. It was amazing. Some of the most fun I've had. Making these videos on YouTube, it's been super fun. Doing this podcast has been a venture that he knows I love. Like this is me. This is what I love.
It's been in the works. I mean,
it's been in the works for years. It's just I never pulled the trigger on it. But I want to encourage all of you is do what you love.
Do it for the right reasons.
Do it for the right reason, and do it because you know that this is what I want to do. This is what God wants me to do, and this is what God has put on my heart. And so, again, thank you, man.
Hey,
thank you for coming on the show.
It's been a pleasure.
I love Jordan to death. He's a brother for life. Couldn't do a lot of things without him. He means the world to me, and so thank you for allowing to hear his story. I pray that as this story has encouraged you, and hopefully has challenged you in some way as well. And also thank you for listening, whether it's on the podcast or whether it's the video podcast. Thank you as well. It really means a lot. And tune in next Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. It starts at 8 a.m. It drops then, but tune in on Tuesday for the next episode and then Thursday for the following episode. It'd be really, really cool. So again, check out Jordan on social media, and then also check out myself. You all know where I'm at. So again, thank you so much. And as always, we'll talk next time.